The two held on to each other and cried like never before. With his mom's accident, with the distance between the two for so long, that hug meant everything. His dad looked down and rubbed his hand through his hair. "It's good to see you, little man. How was that flight, huh?" he said with a grin. "You knew about that?" asked Thomas. "Of course, that's how I get around too," he replied. "If that is how we can travel, why don't we?" asked Thomas. "Little man, once you let all this go to your head, you become them. And I think you know who I mean by them. I didn't want that for you or for our family. Like I said in Sao Paulo, your mom and I wanted to raise you like any other child. We only use the means that we have when we really need to. Do you understand?" "Yes, I get it. But man, it sure is nice," he said. Two of them left Agent Jones and walked into the center. His dad told Thomas all about the people, the computers, and the telescopes that filled the room. He told him that when he left home, he came here. In the past, whenever Mr. Moore would leave home for an extended period of time, he would come here. He worked with the scientists in the lab to study the night sky, to make sure that nothing dangerous was heading Earth's way. "Come with me, Thomas. There is someone I want you to meet." Thomas and his dad walked down a long hallway into a conference room in the back. Standing in front of a large screen was Dr. Saito, the head scientist of the lab. As Thomas entered, Dr. Saito bowed towards him. "Welcome, Thomas. Thank you for coming all this way. Your dad has told me amazing things about you." Mr. Moore and Thomas entered the room and sat at the table in the middle of the room. "Please sit. Can I get you anything?" asked Dr. Saito. "No, thank you. I ate on the plane," replied Thomas. "Understood. Well, thank you again for coming to see us. I have been working with your dad for many years. He's told me amazing things about you, and I want to personally thank you for what you did last year in Brazil. Your dad and I had been tracking that meteor for some time. The universe is unpredictable. We thought it would miss. Luckily, we had you and the others. This is also why your dad and I wanted you to come see us. We have something we need to show you," said Dr. Saito. Thomas looked over at his dad and back to Dr. Saito. "Last year's event was a one meteor event. Soon, we are about to experience something of a biblical proportion. That's why we need you and the others." Dr. Saito turned on the screen and displayed a picture of the Earth and the solar system. "As you can see, this is us. Do you see this cloud right here?" "Yes," replied Thomas. "That is the Taurid meteor stream. Inside the cloud are millions of meteors that orbits around the Earth. Every October, the Earth enters the cloud and the night sky lights up. The majority of the meteors in the cloud are small, and once they enter the Earth's atmosphere, they burn up, never to reach the Earth's surface. Unfortunately, your dad, the scientists here at the lab, had discovered that this year's event will be different. We are not tracking just one meteor like last year, but many. If any of them make contact with the Earth, it could cause absolute destruction." Thomas sat there looking at the screen and back over to his dad. "This is why we needed you to come here, little man. We need you to see this. We need you and the others. Last year was just a warm-up. Looks like the big game is coming." Thomas's mind started to wonder. Earth's fate is in his hands. "But don't you worry. Your dad and I have been working on a plan, and we think it might work. Your dad has just told me that your gift is very powerful, but limited as well." "Limited?" asked Thomas. "A singular beam. A beam would not be able to destroy the size of these meteors. Last year, it took 3 of you to destroy 1 meteor. This event, so we need to spread the beam as wide as possible to increase the surface area in order to have as wide as a reach as possible." "How are we going to do that?" "We have been working with scientists at CERN in Switzerland. They know what we are asking, what we need, but they don't know the entire truth about you. They are currently working on a device, something that can attach to your hand. It will increase the spread and the power of the beam. But they need you and the others to go to CERN, to try out the prototype, to see if it works. Can you ask the other keepers to meet you in Switzerland, to meet you at CERN?" "I can try. I haven't talked to them in a while. Actually, I've never met one of them, but I think that I can make that happen. When do we need to go?" "Although Earth isn't going to enter the Taurid meteor stream for a few months, we need you guys to meet soon. The people at CERN need time to prepare the device and to make any adjustments they need. Please talk to the others and tell them it is urgent. I will contact CERN and tell them you are on your way. Dr. Saito walked over to Thomas and his dad, and they both stood up. Please understand how crucial this is. I don't know how you can do all of this at your age, but your dad said you are a pretty amazing young man, and I see he is right. Dr. Saito bowed to Thomas and his dad and left the conference room. He sat back down and put his head in his hands. Dad, I don't know if I can do this. The one meteor event was hard enough, but this? Multiple meteors? What am I going to do? Dad knelt down on the floor next to the chair and placed his hands on Thomas. Little man, I know you didn't ask for any of this. I know that this is hard. I do. I felt the same way when I was a kid. Granted, I never had to go through any of this like you, but I get it. But little man, they wouldn't ask you to protect their creation if you couldn't do it. They know you have what it takes. They? He asked. You know who I'm talking about. The one in the visions, the creators. They have tasked this family to be the keepers of the earth. You have what it takes. Now, let's go to my place. Let's get some rest and something to eat, okay? Okay, Dad. Along with Agent Jones, they left the facility and returned to Thomas's private car. With a police escort, they traveled through the city of Tokyo all the way to his dad's house. Just like in Brazil, they entered into a heavily secured apartment complex with armed guards around every corner. And just like before, they went to the very top, the penthouse apartment. Wow, Dad, this is as nice as the apartment in Brazil. Is this yours? It's ours, but yes, I've stayed here many times. This is pretty much my home away from home, he said. Please, go make yourself comfortable. Your bedroom is down the hall, last door on the right. Agent Jones, yours is on the left. Please, our home is your home. Thomas walked into his room and laid on the bed, processing everything from the day. He reached down into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He opened up his messaging app and went to the last conversation with Camilla. He stared at the last message he sent many months ago. He remembers what he felt at that moment. He was happy. He liked the girl. But now, with the uncertainty of his future, Earth's future, everything has changed. He took a deep breath and typed, "Are you there?" No response. "I need to tell you something. It's important." Thomas waited and waited. No three dots. No response. He placed his phone on the bed and drifted off. An hour or so later, Mr. Moore knocked on the door. "You awake?" "Yes, sorry. I fell asleep," as Thomas rose from the pillow. "No reason to say sorry. Dinner is ready when you are. Are you hungry?" he asked. "Yes, I'm starving." Thomas got up from the bed, grabbed his phone, and sat at the table as the sun set over Tokyo shined through the window. "This is just as beautiful as the view from over the park." "Yes, this never gets old." "How are you feeling now? Do you want to talk about it?" Thomas sat there, staring at his plate. "Dad, do you notice we only talk about this? We never talk about anything else like sports or music. It's only about this. Can we talk about something else?" "I'm sorry. You're right. You are my son. There is more to life than being a keeper. What do you want to talk about?" It was as if there wasn't anything else to say to his dad. He used to be able to talk to him about anything and everything. Now, nothing. His dad then filled the silence. "Mom is doing well. I talked with Agent Green this morning. Her vitals are doing well. Her brain functions are strong. It is just a matter of time before she comes out of her coma and is back at home." "That's if we have a home," interjected Thomas. "I thought you didn't want to talk about it," asked Mr. Moore. "I don't. I really don't. But it's all I can think about," exclaimed Thomas. "Well, you're getting to that age. Is there anyone you're interested in?" Thomas looked up from his plate. "Camilla," he thought. He jumped up from the table and went into his room. He grabbed his phone, looked at the screen to see missed messages from her. He opened his phone and the app. "Yes, I'm here. What is so important that you texted me at 3 a.m? He sat down on the edge of the bed. He thought for a while about what to say. Finally, he typed, "I'm here in Tokyo with my dad. He has been working with some scientists. They have found more meteors that are going to hit the Earth. ... Meteors? Plural? ... Yes, this time there's more than one. ... What do we do? ... The scientists here said we need to go to CERN in Switzerland. Can you meet me there? Can you tell Red as well? ... Yes, when do you want to meet? ... I'm going to rest tonight and leave tomorrow. ... Okay, I can do the same. Hey, Thomas, safe travels. ... You too, Camilla. Thomas walked back out into the dining room. Where have you been, little man? Camilla texted me back. She said she can meet us tomorrow in Switzerland. Us? I'm sorry. There is no us. I need to go be with your mom. And buddy, now that you are a keeper, I have to let you do your thing. I can't be around. How am I supposed to do all of this alone? Asked Thomas. You won't be alone, Thomas, said Agent Jones as he entered. Your dad is right. Once the power's transferred from him to you, his days are now over. It is your responsibility now. That's why I am here, so you won't be alone. Thomas looked back at his dad. Little man, I may not be there physically, but I'll always be there with you. Thomas knew from this moment on, it was all on him. He handled it once before, but he knew he needed Orange. She was his rock. She got him through the first event. He will need her to get through this. He finished his dinner, hugged his dad, wished him good night, and went back to his bedroom. Hey, little man, I will see you off tomorrow. Have a good night. The next day, Thomas awoke, packed his bag, and went out to say goodbye to his dad. Call me when you arrive. I want to make sure you're okay. Will do, Dad. Agent Jones and Thomas made their way to the car. Are you ready, sir? Asked Agent Jones. I guess so, replied Thomas. They took off back through the streets of Tokyo and back to the airport. They drove to their private hangar and entered into the jet. Although beautiful and luxurious, the plane didn't hit Thomas like it did the first time. It had become home in a way. He made his way back to his chair. He took off his shoes and got comfortable just like the couple days before. Within minutes of arrival, the plane was already in the air. On to Switzerland, Thomas said as he exhaled. Yes, we are, sir. I'm going to go get something to drink. Do you want something? I'll have a Coke, I guess, replied Thomas. Agent Jones walked up to the flight attendant, asked for their drinks, and walked back to the back of the plane. Hey, here's your... said Agent Jones as he dropped the drinks in a panic. Thomas, he yelled as he fell to the floor and grabbed Thomas in his arms. Somebody, get some help!